Darkforest is an amazing map that is somehow absolute trash. What's going on, guys? It's Shawnee Salami, and today we're using the two-handed hammer on Darkforest, which is a map that drives me up a wall. This is a map that heavily favors attackers, so 9 times out of 10, defense just gets stomped. But as for that 1 every 10 times, Darkforest is different because this map is just unbelievably good when both teams are balanced. Fortunately, that never happens. So if you're on defense, you usually get rolled, and if you're on attack, it's pretty boring, especially because most of the time you'll see at least 4 or 5 people just sit and spectate so they don't have to defend it and they'll go on attack, making matters even worse. So that rare chance of that happening is what makes me always do this map when it pops up in the rotation. So typically what'll happen is that I crash out in voice chat, get pretty annoyed, hold everyone hostage, and then hypothetically, maybe I head over to CapCut and put together a video of the one enjoyable Darkforest match I've had in the last month, trash the map in the intro, and then upload it to YouTube as a form of therapy. Hypothetically. But let's get into our gameplay now. We're going to have our relaxing commentary, funny moments, you know, the whole 9 yards. We're going to be using the two-handed hammer. We're going to be playing with our good friends Azrael, Bald Female, Grundle Stompers on the other team, and also my new friend Hambone Jr., who's a very cool guy. Started out as a viewer, and I bullied him into becoming my friend. Let's get into it.
Continue pushing that convoy!
So I neglected to mention while I was ranting and raving about Darkforest that we actually had a sensational game in this one. I'll leave it up to you guys to see how many kills, takedowns, whatnot. But the two-handed hammer is a fantastic weapon. If you've watched this channel for a long time, my take has always been, yes, it's outclassed by the heavy mace directly. There's nothing the two-handed hammer does that the heavy mace doesn't do better. But because you have a cooler, more badass skins and more aura when you use this thing, you look good, you play good. So that makes up for the things the heavy mace does better, like stamina negation on block, and having better drags in some cases. So definitely love this weapon. It's one of my favorites for sure. It would be S tier if the heavy mace didn't exist and it was a top 3 or 5 weapon in the game. Bald Female, ever the meme lord, is telling me that he does not have an arm, so he needs a weapon. So I'm going to throw her my one-handed axe and she's going to go use that. Now, something I was interested in what you guys want to know is, should I record some of these voice chats alongside a game? Because I think it could be cool once in a while, like once every few uploads. I know narrated gameplay is like the bread and butter of the channel, but because you guys have been liking the player spotlight so much and just seeing like people interact, I don't know, I think it could be cool. Let me know in the comments. Like, always trying to make new stuff for you guys. I know Chivalry 2 is like 3 or 4 years into its game's life cycle now. There's not a lot of new things I can do other than just narrated gameplay. Everything's been made at this point, but we're always trying to find new ways to keep you guys entertained, and we're not going to hurt this guy that's just emoting. Never do that. Respect Bard immunity, respect the motors. Don't fight those people. Leave them alone.
Bring that convoy forward! We need to protect and push the caravan!
I'm no expert in game design, but I think this is the biggest reason Darkforest is so imbalanced is attackers just have this health cart in the very back that they could just go to very easily all the time. And it's just, I think that's a little ridiculous and what makes it so easy to attack this map. A lot of times in public lobbies when the players are not as good, I'm trying to just, I don't know, keep it interesting. I don't really use it that much. Right now I haven't died, so there's always a chance you could go deathless, so that's really where that's coming from. But most of the time, if you've watched me play Darkforest, you're going to see me not use it. And don't do as I say, not as I do. Just use that thing. It's there for a reason. And speaking of which, we're going to die now. So there goes that. Old school Shawnee Salami fire pot. Nothing to see here. These overheads are just so satisfying on the two-handed hammer. Just the crunch behind them, it feels so great to use. It's such a natural feeling weapon. Did not see this guy here, so we're gonna knock down our teammate and then quickly pay for our sins and get killed. The two-handed hammer is a blunt weapon, so it gets hit stop, but something you can do to avoid that is use heavy swings. And when you're behind people like this, especially when there are a bunch of knights, right, you want a heavy swing so that your weapon doesn't stop on contact when it hits one person. That's just something you always want to do with blunt weapons, but it can get you in trouble if there's a lot of people around because active parry works a little differently. If you see me do heavy swings in crowds, it's not always the best call. But whenever you have a flanker directly behind someone, it's definitely the thing you want to be doing. I can do another video breaking down the two-handed hammer. It's been a while since we've done a video breaking down a specific weapon, because this is a weapon I've been using a lot lately. Active parry is a little inconsistent to point out examples of this stuff, but right here seems like a good example where I heavy swing through if a bunch of people get some kills, but then I don't have it up as long as I would have if it was a light attack and it kills me. But like I said, active parry can be so inconsistent that it's something I don't even really point out in videos because it's not something I entirely understand, and then it's just known for not always being the most consistent. So the last active player alive is Demolim. I want to shout him out because he's joined the game now. He's an awesome guy, very nice guy who started as a viewer and is also a friend. And I do think this is going to be something I do a lot, guys, is shout people out. We're 4 years into the game. We all are still having fun if we're watching this video and playing together. But I think what most of us are here for is the community aspect. So running into the same names you've been playing against for years is just part of the fun. And it's been cool getting to know a lot of these people recently, and he's one of them. Our team's having a lot of trouble capturing the Gatehouse, and I'm not really helping matters because I'm having a bunch of autopilot moments just rushing in, walking into people. My back's to the spike wall, which puts me in trouble, and I get killed by an archer in melee. Always a tough look.
We must occupy the Gatehouse.
So after a brutal bunch of lives where I just turned my brain off, went completely brain dead, we're going to start heating up a little bit more here. And something that's annoying is I accidentally sent an enemy flying instead of my teammate. I put that in quotes, archer, because I always love to kick those things over, send them flying just comically through the air. Archers are not your teammates, they're your enemies. They just don't team kill them, but if you control them lightly and find ways to bully them to make them reform their neckbeard ways, you can do that. It's just don't grief them and make their day completely miserable. Nothing much of note going on, but we are pushing the convoy pretty well now. I think we were kind of not locked in earlier, like we're all talking in voice chat. Now we're starting to get a little bit more of a rhythm going. I forget if we had warm-up games before this, but Meatballs, Female, and Azrael, sometimes it's a little unfair, all of us being on the same team, but the other team did have good players, like I mentioned earlier. But typically what we would do if that wouldn't happen is one of us would go to the other side. So this one, it was more balanced. It's always pretty interesting to me with this game because it's 32 versus 32, but 3 players of that caliber. And again, I'm not saying I'm as good as Balls, Female, or Azrael, because I am most certainly not. But when you have that kind of playtime, and I'm not applying this to only us in an ego way, I'm just saying in a typical matchmaking lobby, I think the top 4 or 5 players make the biggest difference as opposed to the 25 or so that come after them. As we respawn, it's time for the burn the barricades phase, and this is another terrible Darkforest moment because I think this stage is pointless. I've only seen it held on defense like 2 or 3 times the entire time I played this, and when I did, it was because it was just comically imbalanced teams when people joined late.
Use fire to dismantle the barricades. Our progress. Burn them.
So yeah, just getting a solid bunch of kills. The gameplay is pretty good in this one. I don't have much in the way of advice. It's just pretty good, straightforward gameplay. But we're able to burn the barricades, another pointless Darkforest stage done. And now it's time for the battlefield. And this is one of the best objectives in the game, if a catapult main isn't ruining it for their pretty screenshot, trying to get a big number next to kills and takedowns, with their really engaging gameplay of sitting a million miles in the back, just shooting people. And then they think that they got a ton of kills and did this like amazing thing where everyone's gonna just glaze them in discords. Meanwhile, it's not earned at all and we're all laughing at them. But I digress. Great work by this guy with the heavy mace here, who uses a stab and underrated attack on a heavy mace, and he's able to kill me here. So as we wrap up to destroy the gate phase and prepare to go kill the VIP and see if we can get this win, I would like to ask, if you've liked the video to this point, to please give it a like, help smaller YouTubers out like me a ton, and subscribe for future content means a lot because we got much more Chivalry 2 content on the way, and for whatever the genre holds next, like fiefdom and admortem, things like that. If you want to get some games in with me and my friends, the Discord is in the description today, not the pinned comment, as are the channel memberships, so definitely check that out if you'd like to support the Shawnee PC Fund. It's always appreciated. But today's pinned comment, I'm going to have Smile Kitchen stuff. He is a good friend that's been supporting the channel for a long time, and he's getting into the content game, and he is an excellent Chivalry 2 streamer. He's been doing that every day at around 12:30 p.m. Eastern, so he's excellent at streaming, because I know I don't really stream, guys, so if you're looking for a cool streamer that's very consistent, does it every day, definitely check him out. He's in the pinned comment. Let's see if we can kill the Duke. So in typical Dark Forest fashion, the only part that matters if you're playing for the win is the last stage. Doesn't matter what happens before that. It'll always get there because attackers always have the advantage. And then defense locks in because of how much easier it is to defend that point than the rest. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Love you guys. Check out Smile Kitchen on Twitch, and I'll see you in the next one.